Yo guys, welcome back to another League Racing video on the channel. Today we are here with something quite a little bit different. We're going back to the old style of videos, the more commentary style. But we've got something a bit different in terms of the actual gameplay. We're not just racing in FRL or a league by myself, no. We are actually racing in a team championship, which I don't actually think I've uploaded on the channel before. I might have done it maybe once before, but this is the first round that we did as the team. It was Imola and it was a full wet race. Myself, Bird, Deck and Hazer managed to get a P5, 6, 7 and 12, picking up quite a lot of points. And this league is FRLT, Future Racing League of Teams, and it's a 4-player tier, this one. We're also in tier 1. There'll be a video on that somewhat shortly, I believe. But this is a 4-man team, and after last week, 5, 6, 7, it's okay. But it's not where we know we can be, and you can see straight away we're on a dry Abu Dhabi and we're up in P1 on our provisional lap, starting our final lap, and we are going to be here to show what we can do, because this is a very new team. UFRT is in the esports team of UFRL, managed to convince those guys to get an esports team running, and I'm also co-manager there. So we are trying to make a name for ourselves, and we're already doing so by being in P1 at all. Already doing it. Out of sector 1, we set another fastest. Hamza goes fastest with a 21.9 flat, and we're about half a tenth up, and this is a crucial braking and traction zone. We chuck it in, it's not great, and then on the exit we actually get a bit of a snap. We lose all the time, we lose all our momentum, we actually drop down a little bit, but there is quite a lot of time in this last sector. I was just going lenient, as this was my banker lap. We're not too far off Hamza's time right now, but going into the fast left here, putting down the power as fast as we can. We're gaining some time, but there is a big traction zone, and this entire last sector is incredibly tricky. We actually missed the apex a little bit, but we still managed to gain about a tenth, just about 10. I need to keep the speed up here, get on the power as soon as possible, and we're about a tenth and a bit up, which is absolutely huge. And now all we need to do is get the last corner right, and we actually lock up a little bit. We go a bit deep. We lose about half a tenth, but we do manage to go up to pole, and we do put it on the front row
out the final corner
at the start of the grid.
I actually lost so
by
much. I lost
9
like
milliseconds. It's so close, and that little issue at the last corner nearly ruined the lap. We nearly didn't get pole there. But you can see myself P1, Hamza P2, Half Snow P3, Berkey Fella and Unknown round out the top 5, and you can see they are in the Aston Martins together and the Ferraris together. I'm just up here by myself. I think the Birds qualified P6, I'm not too sure. I wasn't really paying attention. But this is a problem. The fact that we've got 2 teams with 2 drivers working together in tandem right behind us, that's really not good. But we're going to start in the medium tyres. We're here at Abu Dhabi, it's one of my favourite tracks, and it's lights out and away we go. We're starting on the mediums. Hamza is also on the mediums. He gets an alright start. We're going to cover him off on the inside because he does get a slightly better one on us. We go a little bit deep out of turn 1. Missing our braking zone slightly, and we're going to try and hang it around the outside in sector 1, riding the curb on the inside, and we do just manage to get ahead. Brilliant start from us. It wasn't actually that brilliant. I'm hyping up a little bit. It wasn't great, and then Hamza's actually sending out the inside. We need to leave him a little bit of the room. We do manage to leave him the space, and we're going to burn the battery again. We've got more momentum around the outside, and we are getting up into P1. We're staying in P1, still burning some more battery because he wants to get ahead. But we do want to keep this, just to show him, I'm here. I'm not just going to let you go ahead, because I could just let him go ahead. But the problem with letting him go ahead is that I'm not first. So, kind of want to be first throughout the entire race. But he's a bit too far back now. And now we're going to use this last sector to save up some battery, downshifting, to get none going and start saving, because this section entirely isn't an overtaking zone. There's no, in this corner right now, maybe that's a send, but no one's really going to be stupid enough to send unless it's the last lap, so we do manage to save a lot of battery here. This is where we're going to save a lot of battery. We've saved around 40% just about in that sector alone, which is absolutely massive. This is going to be a sector every single lap where we can gain a guaranteed 40% ERS if we don't have anyone right behind us, which we do going on to the first straight of lap 2. Hamza's looking a little bit close, but you can just see he's not going to go for a move. He's looking a little bit, but he backs off. Tobias retires from the session. Not too sure what happened to him, but oh well, he kind of ruined my race in Imola last week, so not too bothered about him not being here. and that's one less driver for TTRE to have at the top of them. But speaking at the top, and we're going to put it back into none and just let Hamza go through because we want to save battery, and he's just clearly faster at that point. There's really no point fighting, and that is a very easy overtake for him. On to lap 3, and we're not going to go for a move. We do the same thing Hamza did last time. He gets a bit loose, he has a bit of a rear lock there, but we're going to try and do what he did to us last lap and save it for this straight now. We're going to burn all the battery and we're going to turn it off because we have so much overspeed. We're just going to save a little bit. There's no point using an extra 10-15% to get past them when we're already that close. And then we get in front, and again we're going to be charging the battery once more. Next lap, this time Berkey Feller in P3 is actually closing in on Hamza a little bit, which is forcing Hamza to go for a move. They're going to go for it. Berkey's getting a bit close as well, but still Hamza decides not to go for it. Doesn't put it in. We go a little bit deep, which is a bit uncalled for, but that's just how it's went. Can't change it now. And then onto the same straight, all the overtakes have been made. Hamza's going to go for it again. But now Berkey Feller's got a lot of overspeed, so we've only got 10% battery. He's trying to go around the outside. We don't want to go out down to P3. And then Hamza goes a little bit deep, which actually gives me a bit of an opportunity to then keep my nose in to defend from P2, and we do manage to get ahead, and we put it back into none. And charge again. Rambo retires from the session. A rip to Rambo. And we're just chilling. We don't want to do too much. We want to fight because we want to stay in P1 or 2. But obviously we want to be in P1, because if we're not, then there's a bit of an issue. And Hamza has an issue. And he goes a little bit wide, and then he goes wide again. And I'm not too sure what he did. I think he just made a few mistakes. It's not went well for him, but we don't want to overtake him, because that's going to leave us vulnerable to P3 on the next lap. So we back out, and then there's a bit of contact, but we do end up sorting out and getting back into the train. And if you look in the top left, truly, the Haas is on the hard compounded tyres, and he started dead last. He is a very quick driver, and he is an issue. We fake a move up the inside just to see what happens. We put Hamza off a little bit. We're going to go for it on this straight now, but truly, very quick driver, and on the slower compound of everyone on the grid. He's managed to work his way from P15 last place all the way up to P4, and it's only been 7 laps, so he is rapidly becoming a threat. We're going to put it up the inside of Hamza, not really going for a move, so he does end up closing the door. Fair enough, all well there. Going to go, and then again, where all the overtakes have been made, we're going to use some overtake, and we're going to move to the outside, and then hopefully Berkey is actually going to come with us, or I hope that him and Hamza go side by side, which I think they are actually doing, but it all evens itself out, and Berkey actually had a bit of a moment. So now, me wanting Berkey to go side by side with Hamza has actually lost him a position, and now Truly is here. And he is right in the fight. It's not, I haven't noticed it at this point, but when I notice, I'm like, oh shit, he's actually a problem here. Wait, Truly's already in P2. Yeah, you hear me say. Truly's already in P2. This is when I noticed it, and here he comes now, 3 wide. We're in the middle. We don't want to be here. We back out. Let them go side by side. Truly goes a bit deep, but he's actually going to hang around the outside. Never mind. He did that on purpose. As well. And in 8 laps, he's went from last to first, and he is already in the lead on the better strategy, theoretically. On to lap 9 now. Hamza's actually going to go for an undercut. He's going to go and box. And that's a pretty early box, because I was thinking maybe a lap 11 or 12, because I know the tyre wear on the mediums is pretty bad. But I didn't think it was worth boxing on lap 9. That's just a bit too long to go on the hards. But now that's left us in a bit of a sticky situation as our teammate also boxes, because Truly's now just out a second ahead, and that's not good, because we need that DRS. If we're going to stay out this extra lap, we really need to not get undercut that badly, because it's going to happen. That's just how F124 is. We are going to get undercut right now. But we need Half Snow to go as well, because he's on the hard tyres. He's going to be able to keep similar pace to Truly, and that overspeed is going to slingshot him into DRS, and the gap is going to close down. He goes a little bit deep, but by the end of lap 10, I have to react to Hamza's box, so I also box. Being careful not to overcut the inside curb, because you can actually get a 3 seconds automatically if you cut it too much. I'm not too sure why that happens in this game, but it does. But we're boxing, and this is going to be interesting to see where we actually come out in relation to Hamza with the 1 lap undercut, because my tyres were really falling off. They were not performing very well. Going under the tunnel now, out the pit lane, and you can just about see him. We're going to come out just about behind the flops in the McLaren, and he goes a bit deep, so I'm instantly sensing, we need to get past, we need to stick with Hamza. And I think Floppis has actually stayed out on the mediums, because I hadn't seen him in the fight for the win so far in this race. But luckily, we box a lap later and stay within the DRS of Hamza, about the same as it was when he did go for the undercut. So I'm not complaining at all. This has actually worked out pretty well. We actually nearly run into the back of him there. We actually do run into the back of him. And he brakes pretty early and just caught me off guard a little bit because he is on warmed up hard tyres. He should be braking a little bit later than me when I'm on my outlap. And you can see in the top left, Bird is actually behind us. So that is our teammate. Though he is in the Mercedes, he is actually our teammate. Rapid driver, didn't have a very good qualifying. But he's actually here right now, and that's incredibly helpful because Hamza and Half Snow, both the Astons, are part of the same team. Not too sure what their other car is. I think it might actually... I think it's the Haas. No, it's the Haas. That's what it is. So basically, truly Hamza and Half Snow are all in the fight for the win as we take provisionally what should be P1 because the overcut is going to go a lot slower for Truly and Half Snow who have stayed out on the hards. But they are going to go pretty long and they're going to have some really serious pace going into the final few laps. Lap 13 now. Just going to be swapping the DRS. And Bird is just about in the DRS behind us. But because we're saving battery, he's easily able to close back in. And that isn't actually a problem. I looked away for a second. Not sure if I actually ran into the back of Hamza. But either way, it's not worth enough to give me any wing damage. So it really isn't contact, in my opinion. Either way, same again. You've seen this many times. We're going to go around the outside into the fast left, and then we are going to sit and charge. Very, very fun racing. This is what we like to see. Promise you, it does get a bit more interesting later on. I forgot to actually change the edit. I will actually change the edit, but it is lap 14 now, and Hamza's going to go up the inside this time to make an overtake, and he's actually going to run really deep. So I'm going to look for it, but I don't really want to overtake. I'm just trying not to get spun around. Very unsure of where Hamza's actually going to put his car if he's going to have a snap of oversteer, but luckily he didn't. Lap 15, we're actually going to make a move before the next straight now. Wow, look at that. Trying to slingshot both our way into the DRS. Not into the DRS, we're just going to keep slingshotting our way forward because we need to defend from this overcut as much as we can, and the best way to do that is to do what we have just done and have one of us burn our battery on the first straight and then have the other burn his battery on the second straight, and then the second one, whoever's behind, can save. Going to be doing that again, lap 16. Going to go around the outside again.
Nice move, keep going.
And you will see in a second as we try not to have a severe rear lock, as we are kind of struggling with the tyres and the rear locking at this point. But the same as last lap, we are going to just move to the right and let him go on the inside and let him slingshot his way forward, so now I can charge again. And this is really good coordination from myself and Hamza. We're actually doing pretty well here, and then for some reason the next lap he's slowed down a little bit. He must have had an issue at the start of the lap. We get really close. I'm actually sending it. I'm not too sure why, but he does defend. We don't actually seriously think about going to the move. I was talking to my engineer, so I wasn't really locked in. But then we go and then we actually run into the back of him on the straight. I'm not too sure why I've done that. That lost us a little bit of momentum, and our Berkey fella in P3 is going to be challenging. He's going to go around the outside. They're going side by side behind us, and we're going to try and use this to break away a little bit if we can. But then also we don't want to break away because we still need to use the DRS to go back and forth. That's how we're defending from Truly and Half Snow. But you can see 12.5 seconds up the road, which isn't far. That's a pretty good gain of time for us, as we're going to fast forward because they will be boxing at the end of this lap. But this is a pretty good gain. For them to only be 12 seconds ahead of us is really huge. The DRS slingshotting really made the difference there. But now you can see we've just passed them in the pit lane, and we're obviously got warm tyres. We're on the faster side. They've got to go under the track again. And you're going to see right there the Haas and the green and the white dot. As they come into the pit, they're actually pretty far away, which is really nice. I'm not complaining at all. And that gives us a little bit of a buffer before they catch us, which should mean that their tyres are more worn by the end of the race. So these strategies are looking like they're going to be pretty close by the end of the race. We have a big snap of oversteer. We actually nearly put it in the wall, and that loses us both positions. And for the first time in the race, we are down to a legitimate on-track P3, and that's not great. And we need to wiggle to the bird to let him know, you know, don't overtake. You're on older tyres. I know you've undercut your way into this train, but now it's, come on. I know I just had a bad corner, but let's not attack here. And then on the next lap, actually, Berkeyfeld's going to make the move. Hamza's going to move over, and I'm going to go to the outside. You're going to get boxed in a little bit, which is going to give Hamza the opportunity to send it back up the inside. We don't want to lose time here. We're still trying to defend from the overcutting TTRE drivers. But we actually have a little bit of a snap. But again, we managed to hold the position this time. Not from the last lap, we managed to hold this, and we're going to save again. Managed to sit in P2, and Bird's actually made his way into P3, which is, this has suddenly turned out really well for us, as in the qualifying he was P6, and I don't think he was in the train at the start of the race for the first stint. So the fact he's managed to undercut his way into this is really nice. Like, I am so happy he's here. But next lap, lap 24. We need, you hear me saying, need him to work with me. I'm just going to let him go because we need to defend from Truly, because Truly is now in P3. Truly, with the freshest tyres on the grid, is now in P3, and we run into the back of Berkey, losing a bit of momentum, and Truly is here. Bird is going to be doing his best to fight him off. There's a yellow flag behind us, nothing serious. But we're going to just DRS swap again. Going to slingshot our way back over. A little bit of leapfrog. But he's here. Truly is here on the fresh tyres, and that is a scary sight to see him up into P3 already. We have a little bit of a snap again, but considering he started last, he's fought his way up to into P1 by lap 8, and he's already back here from the overcut, which from when he came out the pits it looked like it was going to be really difficult for them to catch, but they've just caught really quickly, and now you can see he's 2 tenths behind us, and I think he's actually going to go for a move here. He's got so much overspeed. We're going to try and defend a little bit, but we're also going to go for 3 wide for a minute. We actually are 3 wide. That moves into 2 wide though. And Truly is already back up into P1. But by this point his tyres are not the greatest. You can see he had a little bit of a rear tyre spin and he nearly lost the car. And you can see now we really need to get ahead. So we burn all our battery, as inconvenient as it might be, because we can't let Truly be ahead for this sector. This sector is all about having who's got the most grip. And he would have the most grip, so I had to get ahead there, because he might have had the chance to run away. I'm not sure if my tyres would have held up that well, but I'm just being absolutely swarmed right now on the next lap. Truly goes back into P1, Berkey's there. Don't really want to hold up Berkey too much. We are side by side, it's very clean racing, and we are going to burn more battery, because we do want to stick with Truly, but we also don't want to let Half Snow through, because he's on the faster tyres. He's looking at P3 now. He's on the same tyres as Truly, and this is looking very spicy. There is only 2 laps left, and we are definitely in this fight for the win. It is not like Truly and Half Snow are just going to run away with it. This is going to be a really interesting win. They're too wide behind us, and that's a very risky place to go 2 wide, so I'm just kind of hoping they take each other out. They actually knock into each other a little bit. They're about 7 tenths behind now, which is one of the biggest gaps I've had while being in P2 to the car behind. Lap 28 now, you can see how slow Truly's going. We have a little bit of a slide there out the left-hander of the chicane, and we don't want to overtake. We do not want to overtake right now, but we also want to defend from Half Snow. So we're in a very tricky situation here. We're going to look up the inside of Truly, but we're not really going to overtake. We're just using this to defend from Half Snow, because we want to be P2 going into this final lap. We need to be P2, and we've played this really well so far, saving our battery all the time. We're at 100% pretty much. Not too sure how much Truly's on, but I know he's not burning. I know for a fact that he is saving just as much as me, and behind, Bird actually went for a double overtake, and then he got spun around. We're going to have a look at that now. Ignore the potato quality, but he gets a massive run out the fast left, and he goes around the outside of 2 drivers. They stay side by side. He's made an absolutely beautiful move here, and then he just gets taken out and then just loses traction. It's really unfortunate because he was having an amazing race, and that was an amazing overtake. The fact we were both on for a double podium at UFRT is incredible in our second race in this tier, in this league. Really, that would have been a very nice result. But either way, we still have a very good chance to get a good result here, but we don't want to overtake yet. You can see we're not burning any battery at all, neither is Truly. Playing some DRS games here, and we're just going to sit behind him. We're not going to let him we're not going to give him a chance to back up and get us out of it, but we're going to be set up perfectly for this corner, and we just lose traction. We actually lose a lot of time, and now that puts us on the back foot to Half Snow. So now it's looking like what was a certified P1 is actually might be a P3 in the end. We defend the inside. He's going around the outside. We need to try and break and have some traction here. We lose the back end again, but we just have so much battery. You'll see how close we're going to get to Truly in a second. We are easily able to defend, but we just have so much battery. They're going side by side behind us. Berkey's getting desperate, and yeah, it's just been a very unfortunate finish to the race. But we might still have a chance. Hey, he loses the back end a little bit. We're going to look at the inside. We're going to try and send it, but there's just no room.
Oh, I fumbled that so hard. That's such a poor exit.
It's just...
Fuck, man.
It's just unlucky. It's so unfortunate because you can hear me say that I think I should have won that race. And realistically, I should have. If I didn't have that snap going out that major traction zone.
I just didn't I was still so
it would have
close,
been
so
such a different story. We would have actually won our first race for the team in any league. And these are the final results. Myself in P2, Bird finished P6, Rusted Bolt in P9, and Hazer unfortunately in P11. I'm not sure if that actually gave many points, but I think that puts us second in the championship going into next week at Qatar, which is absolutely huge. I'm not complaining at all, especially for a team that we did qualify for the first round. I'm an idiot. I thought we only qualified from round 2 onwards, but we actually didn't. We qualified from round 1. It was tier 1 of this league that we didn't qualify for round 1 onwards, but that is for a story for another time, because that is it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more league racing content. We're going to have a lot of UFRT content. I'm really excited about this team. The project we've got going on is insane, and we will definitely be at the top very soon. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Peace.